Can I have a one-word prompt, please?
Doll.
Doll. All right. Here we go. 3, 2. I'm trying to think if being a boy, we didn't have many dolls. Oh, I will say, okay, so we had this, I don't know what's it called. Probably a doll. My dad found some old, from the 60s doll and would hide it around the house to, scare us.
Okay, that's terrifying. But hold on one sec. Hey, welcome to the Overtalking Podcast with your hosts, Ken and CJ. Say hi, CJ.
Hi, CJ.
This is the show where we talk over TV shows and movies as chosen by our guests. And this week, we watched M3GAN.
And it is M3GAN, not M3GAN.
I like to call her M3GAN.
Okay, I like that.
As you can tell, Ken is sick this week, which is me. And that's why my voice sounds so different. No, Ken is gone, and our special guest this week, your very favorite guest, is me, Karissa. Hi, CJ.
Hi, Karissa.
What's up?
Thanks for stepping in the hosting role.
Oh, you're so welcome. I thought that I could do it. I practiced on the way over and out loud in my car, and I think I nailed it.
You did. It shows.
Okay, amazing. That's great.
Yeah, Ken is dead. He won't be returning to the show.
Yeah, Ken went to Egypt and never came back.
That's right.
No, poor Ken has a little cold, or maybe a big cold. We're not sure.
Yeah.
But he can't join us today, so you're stuck with just the two of us this
That's right.
week.
He's a big boy. It's probably a big cold.
Yeah, big boy, big cold. That's how it goes. I feel for him. I had a cold last week. It was rough. It was not fun. It wasn't COVID, but it still was not fun.
Yeah, I think because we are inside for 3 years, now just an average cold will put you on your ass.
Yes, absolutely.
We're not used to it anymore.
Yeah, and before COVID, I'm actually really upset about this because before COVID, I had an immune system of steel because one year I got the flu twice in the span of 3 months. Two different strands of the flu, and it just really solidified my immune system, and I wouldn't even get colds. For years, I wouldn't get sick. And then COVID happened, and I was inside for a long time, and now I have no immune system, it seems. But I don't think I'm alone.
The flu sucks.
It sure does. And, you get a cold, and you think, oh, I have the flu. But you know when you have the flu.
I was a huge dum-dum when I was younger. Surprise, surprise. And I 1 year I just did not get a flu shot and then got the flu. And you're like, oh, holy shit. I can't move without it hurting.
Yeah, literally.
You literally can't. I didn't leave my bed all day.
Yeah, your skin hurts.
Yeah,
I hate that.
any movement at all. You can't eat. Nothing is appetizing. It's awful.
Yeah, I have to admit, and maybe this is too much information, so feel free to tell me if this is too much information. Listeners, sorry in advance. But the worst part about having a fever for me is undoubtedly sitting down on the toilet because your skin hurts so bad, and that's already a sensitive area, and you go and you sit down and it hurts, and you know it's gonna hurt before you sit down. That's my least favorite part of having the flu.
Yeah, that's rough.
Worse than all of the other symptoms, worse than, not getting out of bed. The sitting on the toilet's the hard part.
Yeah, you're come on, buddy. I have to do this.
Yes, I don't understand. But yeah, shout out to Ken. We hope you're feeling better. I'm sorry that we had to move on without you, but here we are. I am sad because I wanted to hear Ken's takes on this movie. So we'll have to check in with him. Yeah,
we will be hearing from him later in the show.
Amazing. Okay, because I have a lot of opinions and thoughts about this movie. Obviously, I don't think anyone's surprised. But I also imagine that Ken has some strong feelings about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially this, it goes into the territory of I don't think it's trying to be a full-blown comedy, but it kind of is a little bit
oh, it's funny.
Yeah, it feels like kind of a spoof of a horror movie.
Totally, yes. I know we're going to get into it, but were you scared by this movie?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. There were parts of it that were scary, for sure. But scary in not a jump scare necessarily way.
Yeah.
I'll get into that a little
There
later.
were some creepy parts for sure. Yeah, no, maybe I'm lying. Now one scene comes to mind where I'm like, oh, okay, now it's getting a little
totally.
creepy in horror territory.
Yes. But I remember the first time that we saw this trailer, I think we were together, CJ, and I think that we went to see The Glass Onion.
Oh, yeah.
That's the first time that I saw this trailer. And we saw that little dance that's featured in the trailer. And I heard a little bit of trivia, which is that this movie was shot as an R-rated film. But the trailer was so popular with like Gen Z and kids because of that like pseudo TikTok dance that they had to then do some reshooting and re-editing to make it PG-13.
That's right. Yeah.
That's wild.
Because Ken's the usual trivia person, I just pulled up the IMDb page, and that was the one I saw.
Really?
Yeah, was the one you
Okay.
just mentioned.
Well,
that went viral on TikTok.
Yes, I am not surprised because that was the highlight of the trailer for me. And we were, when we were seeing The Glass Onion, we were with friend of the show, Steve, who he didn't watch The Glass Onion. He closed his eyes because canonically he has never seen any other films.
That's right, yeah.
Apart from, those few that he's covered on the show. Citizen Kane, and then the entire Fast and Furious franchise.
He was there for the popcorn.
Yes, he was there. He was there with us, but he closed his eyes and he plugged his ears. But after he did watch the trailers though.
Yeah.
And he saw M3GAN. And Steve, shout out, hey. We asked him, Steve, would you go see that with us? And he said no, because he doesn't like dolls.
Interesting.
Yes. And so since then, Eric and I have tried to get Steve on board with some doll-related films. And Steve is not interested for a number of reasons. But films like Leprechaun, which apparently he thinks that's a doll.
Yeah,
not sure
it's a
about
leprechaun.
that. It's a leprechaun. But we were also watching the Chucky movies, and he wanted no part of it.
Yeah. I now remember the name of the doll. It's a Howdy Doody doll.
Howdy
was the
Doody?
one my dad had, and would hide around the house.
Okay, why would he hide it around the house?
To be fair, we were already older, so it's not like we were 7 years old and he was
Sure.
legitimately trying to scare you. Because he's a weird dude.
Well,
I don't know.
No comment.
Yeah.
My father-in-law, no comment. Yeah, I don't know if I was ever really afraid of dolls, but I have a distinct memory of a friend of mine who, in her grandparents' house, they had a pool, so we would visit all the time. And her grandparents had this porcelain doll collection, and they were all just on this shelf looking at you, and that shelf faced the bed that we all slept in. Because, as a 7-year-old, we all just slept in the bed together.
Nice.
But I remember that being scary. But I had a porcelain doll that now is I like to think of her as scary enough to be a Halloween decoration. So when Halloween comes around, I set her out and she's my Halloween decoration because she is spooky.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think any porcelain doll these days,
Yes.
I want no part of.
No, and I wanted it so bad as a kid. I literally we went to the doll factory, which is a thing, and we browsed the shelves, which were full of porcelain dolls, and I spotted this one and I said, that's the one I want. Her name is Kennedy, which is the silliest name I've ever heard, and I never lived that down. My parents still give me crap about choosing the doll named Kennedy.
What were they making at this doll factory? Nightmares?
That's good. That's good. I'm not laughing, but I'm acknowledging that it's
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Just as good of a reaction.
Yes, I appreciate that. And all right.
And I think that's the perfect time to take a break. We'll be right back to talk about M3GAN.
Katie, you lost your parents.
Welcome home.
You're my niece. I'm gonna do everything I can to make this place feel like home.
Just wish I could see them again.
I'm not equipped to handle this. I don't even take care of my own plants. I have this project at work. Do you want to see?
Yes.
This is Megan.
Hi, Megan. I'm Katie. It's nice to meet you, Katie. Do you want to hang out? Okay.
And we're back on the Overtalking Podcast. Again, Ken is not with us, but you are RIP. You have the great pleasure of hearing me and CJ talk about M3GAN this week. So
this is normally where I would say, hey, Karissa, why'd you pick this movie? But I picked this movie.
Yeah, I was shocked that you picked this movie. It's not, as you've said, it isn't really scary.
Yeah.
But I think it was kind of marketed as a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a Blumhouse.
Yes,
production?
Blumhouse. Yeah.
Who does horror movies, right? Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So I was shocked that I think you saw it maybe even before I saw it.
Oh yeah, I heard it being promoted. Allison Williams was talking about it on a podcast,
Gotcha.
and they were sort of saying like, oh, the host of the podcast was like, oh no, this is like funny. Like there's a lot of like funny parts, and I was like, oh okay. And just the way that they were talking about it, I was like, oh, it's definitely a horror movie, but it doesn't seem like no real like a lot of jump scares it seemed manageable for a scaredy cat like me.
It was definitely manageable. I think that I had the biggest grin on my face from the moment that it began to the moment that it ended. I don't want to spoil my rating, but I had such a good time watching this movie.
It's fun.
Yeah,
that's how I would
fun.
describe it. Like
it is fun.
It's fun. No jump scares, which I like, and yeah, it is legit. It feels like a spoof on a horror movie, and I think even they have like Ronnie Chang as the boss of the tech company, who is like he's a Daily Show correspondent. He is like a comedian, and so yeah, I think they cast it super well. But Karissa, that reminds me of the part of the show we're supposed to do.
I was hoping you forgot.
Which is we're going to put 30 seconds on the clock for you to describe the movie for someone who's never seen it. Ready, go.
All right. Opens with a family. We fade in. Immediately, the parents in this family are killed.
Yeah.
The child is orphaned. Then rough start. This little girl, she goes to live with her aunt who makes robots.
10 seconds.
And she befriends a new robot bestie named M3GAN.
5.
And
4,
hilarity
3,
ensues.
2, 1.
It does. It absolutely does.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this was, I was really hoping you forgot about that part. But this, at least I remembered that it was part of the show. Usually, even though I've been on here a million times, I usually show up and then that part of the show comes up and I'm like, oh, I forgot. I didn't think about this at all.
I forget that we do the Rotten Tomatoes score every episode.
Yeah, I mean, we could both cheat every week.
Totally. But I legitimately never remember.
Yeah, it's not even that I'm like too good for cheating. I'm not.
Yeah.
I just forget.
Yeah.
I
we
forget
get to the part
that
I'm
it's
like,
an option.
oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What would it be?
Yeah, exactly. But no, yeah, this is a grim start to the movie. But right away, I'm getting a lot of like Orphan, the movie vibes. That I saw a lot of parallels between this movie and Orphan. Have you seen Orphan?
No.
Okay. I won't spoil the twist in Orphan because it is wild, truly wild. But similarly to M3GAN, this orphan, she's kind of tasked with taking care of the kids in this house, this adopted sibling. And in the same way, M3GAN is built. I'm going to keep calling her M3GAN. Her name is not Megan to me. M3GAN is built essentially to help Gemma, who is kind of she's our guardian in this situation. She builds M3GAN so that essentially, she says she built her to take, to watch over, what's the little girl's name?
The orphan.
The orphan. I'll just call her the orphan. Oh, that's confusing because I brought up the movie The Orphan. That's okay. I don't remember her name, the orphan. But it seems almost immediately, it becomes clear that Gemma built M3GAN so that she did not have to parent this child.
So it's her sister is the one that died in the car accident.
Yes.
So now she is taking guardianship, and it is established very quickly of like, oh, you have no idea what you're doing as far as like how to take care of a child.
No, and not even that she is like, she doesn't have any children of her own. She doesn't have a lot of experience taking care of others. It's not just that. Like, honestly, Child Protective Services would get involved immediately if this were real. Because it's not just like that she is scared that she's not doing a good job. She's like straight up negligent. Yeah. Straight up.
Also, her name I'm just now seeing, I thought her name was Katie.
Yeah,
as in
it's not.
It's C-A-D-Y.
Oh no! Why would
KD.
so the two main characters' names are Gemma
with a G
and M's.
Yeah.
And KD instead of KT.
Yeah.
Okay, confusing.
Poor choice.
Yeah, and friggin' at least M3GAN's a normal name. Yes, so this house that they're living in, first of all, is beautiful. It's an amazing home, but on all of the walls, there are toys that are still in their packaging because she is, like a robotics engineer or something? She develops toys.
Super smart.
Yes, and Katie is like, "Oh, toys! I want to play with them," and she's like, "Don't touch those!
They're
like
collectibles.
Those are collectibles." And I love later in the movie too when she finally caves and lets Katie play with one of the toys, and they're just like rolling it around on the ground like it's a tennis ball, and she's like, "Oh, well, actually, I built that, and actually."
It's supposed to do this.
It's really cool, and it does these things. And the social worker's like, maybe just let the little kid play with the toy.
Yeah.
I thought that was so good.
She works at like a souped up Hasbro type company,
Yes.
but like in the robotics division.
Yes.
And so is building this like M3GAN robot AI thing.
And she's building it in secret behind her boss's back.
Right.
But her boss, after seeing M3GAN, is like, oh, yeah, we can really profit off of this. Parents won't have to parent their children anymore.
Yeah.
And so they get a bunch of investors together to observe M3GAN in the wild. And, okay, this is bringing me to a moment that we have to talk about, which is that M3GAN sings.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your reaction to the singing? Because that was not featured in the trailer, and it was a shock.
Yes, super creepy.
Yes.
I think like anytime a like weird demonic child sings, something about like singing is you're all of a sudden like, ugh, I don't like this. What's happening?
It was bizarre. It was shocking.
Yeah.
It changed me. The first time she sings, though, it is kind of sweet because Katie is feeling sad that her parents are dead, as you would.
Yeah.
And
Trying to comfort her.
Yes, she's trying to comfort her. She's trying to record the stories that she's sharing about her dead parents. And then she sings her a sweet little song. And the investors are watching as this happens. They're all crying.
Yeah, they think it's so sweet.
Yeah, they think it's great. What they don't know is that M3GAN has started disobeying Gemma.
Yeah. Allison Williams.
Yes.
Yeah, so they what did she call him? Like imprint on her or
Yes.
something like that. So M3GAN's objective is to defend KD. Such a stupid.
So
Just
stupid.
call her Katie.
Yeah.
That's a normal name.
I mean, Katie is the name of the character, I think, that Lindsay Lohan plays in Mean Girls. Her name is Katie, C-A-D-Y.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I'm seeing that name ever.
That's the only other time I've ever heard of a Katie.
Definitely, if I saw that written down, I would say like Caddy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go on.
Oh, no. So she starts to disobey. Like, her main objective is defend Caddy at all costs. And she takes that to an extreme where, like, she's able to analyze situations and people's body temperatures and emotions and stuff like that. And Caddy becomes way too attached to M3GAN.
As we all knew she would.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the social worker even sort of starts to warn her of like, hey, this can get bad. She's never going to want to like let go of M3GAN now. Mm-hmm. And it's also established that Caddy was homeschooled previously.
Right.
So she doesn't really have like friends.
No.
So, which again is why she's so attached to M3GAN. Mm-hmm. And then where it starts to take a turn is like, there's a couple of spots. What I'm getting to is when they're taken to this like more sort of like hippy dippy children's outdoor school.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like camp essentially. Uh-huh. And there's a bully kid and that gets paired up with Caddy.
We have to talk about this bully kid because his mom and Gemma kind of like team up. They're like, oh, look how sweet our kids
like making
are.
sandwiches.
Oh my gosh. And she's like, that one's mine. She's like, hey, honey. And he yells over. He's like, fuck you, mom.
Yeah. Calls her by her name, not even mom.
Yeah,
It's
I don't even remember what her first name, but
Yeah.
yes, he calls her by her first name. And they're like, oh, what a fun age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then starts to bully Caddy, and then M3GAN goes into like protective mode.
Oh my gosh.
And starts to play dead at first to like lure this bully into a false sense of security, and then reaches out and grabs him by the ear as like a old school parent would do, but then just starts to pull an ear to the extent that I don't think is possible.
No, absolutely not. That would not happen. It stretches so far.
It's like 4 inches away
it stretches
from his
so
face.
far. And then it does ultimately rip off. But I don't think it would stretch like that.
Yeah. He's to the point where like you're seeing light come through his ear.
Exactly.
It's like, Jesus.
But we also, in this scene, see what I found to be the most horrifying part of the entire film, which is when M3GAN runs on all fours.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember if that's in the trailer or not.
Crawls like a zombie thing, yeah.
I have a problem with things moving in unnatural ways. So like when I see, and this is natural, but when I see like a snake on the ground and it like moves in the way that snakes move, I feel like sick to my stomach. It's disgusting. It freaks me out.
Creepy, yeah.
And I had that same feeling when I saw M3GAN running on all fours.
Oh,
I was like, I'm going to throw up. This is unnatural, horrifying, and too fast. She ran too fast on all fours. But yeah, it was effective. It was terrifying.
So I started, so if you listen to last week's episode, our mini review one, Ken brought up this Netflix show, Physical 100.
Okay.
I have now since started watching it and love it. I get why, like, it is entertaining. So there's this, so it's 100 people. It's like physical challenges.
Okay.
And one of the challenges is 2 people are paired up and put in this, like, arena essentially.
Okay.
And there's a big ass like medicine ball. Okay. And the challenge is whoever is holding the medicine ball when the time expires wins.
Sure.
So you can essentially like ignore it the entire time and just kind of like fight each other and wrestle. One of the contestants is this choreographer guy who is in charge of like, he makes the zombie motions for movies and stuff.
Okay.
And what you're describing, his opponent gets the medicine ball, and this choreographer guy is now having to like chase him around the arena and does shit like that, like goes on all fours and is a contortionist. And you're like, oh my God, this guy is a real life zombie.
I would literally just hand him the ball. Like, just like, take it.
No,
take
you
it.
take it.
That's disgusting.
He ends up losing. Spoilers.
Oh, damn.
Because at the end of the day, he isn't really like that strong.
Sure,
and so the other guy
he's just a contortionist.
Yeah, he's kind of like a skinnier dude. And,
oh my gosh.
But it was wild to watch. Because there's
scary.
like weird, it's kind of like a jungle gym type arena.
Sure.
And so this dude is like running underneath things on all fours, and it was like, oh my God, this dude is a real life zombie.
Nope, I cannot handle that. And speaking of zombies, we're also currently watching The Last of Us.
Oh God.
Which I had to stop watching, literally had to stop watching it because it was too dark, too scary. I was having like really horrible, I have bad nightmares all the time anyway, and it was making my nightmares so much worse. I just told Eric, I was like, you can watch it without me. I can't do this any longer. But in that movie, in that show, this is not a spoiler. They're fast zombies, not slow zombies.
Oh, yeah.
And I
So
can't
much
take
worse.
it. It's the exact same experience. It's like, I feel like I'm going to barf when I see these zombies running so fast. I don't know why physiologically I react that way, but I cannot take it.
Yeah. People keep at it like, oh, are you watching? It's like, no. I've seen the reaction videos of people like episode 2. They're just like weeping uncontrolled. It's like, nope, I'm good. I'm sure it's a great show.
Yes, you can watch. You can watch the episode with Nick Offerman. That can be a standalone episode. Watch that. Don't worry about watching anything else because that's a really beautiful episode, and I love Nick Offerman.
Yeah.
But the rest of it was just like way too dark for me.
I can't do it. I like same with The Whale. I hear it's amazing, but I'm sorry. I'm at a stage in my life now where like I don't really want to cry for entertainment.
No,
like,
and that's how I feel too. And I used to be someone who wanted to feel everything. Yeah. And now the one for me that I'm avoiding is After Sun because I want to see that so bad. But I've heard, it's newer, but I've heard that it just like wrecks you. And I'm like, I'm already wrecked. Yeah, I don't need to be wrecked anymore.
I've got enough of that on my own.
I am at rock bottom. I cannot go any lower. And I can't subject myself to things like that right now.
I know I'm sure I'm missing out on like masterpieces of entertainment, but like I can't do it.
No, maybe someday.
Yeah, maybe years from now, if the world ever returns to what was normalcy, then like maybe I'll have it in me.
Yes.
But I'm still feeling the like pandemic blues.
Yeah, I can't
like,
do it.
I just don't have it in me anymore.
Nope. Which is why we watch movies like M3GAN.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it is very funny. Later, she sings another song. Do you remember what song it is? Because the first one I didn't know, but the second one really shocked me to my core.
What was it?
Bulletproof. Nothing to lose.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
She sings Titanium, and it's shocking. It's really, she sings the entire verse, and I think she also sings the chorus.
Yeah.
It's horrifying. It might be one of the scarier parts of the film.
And I assume they're doing it because I think it is like established that she is built of
titanium. She is just stating facts in like, song form.
Hey, just so you all know, I am bulletproof.
I am bulletproof.
So
Nothing
if you try
to lose.
To take me on,
fire away.
Yeah, you're
because I
lose.
am titanium. Really, really a shock. I did not expect the singing, and I definitely did not expect that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
That was another highlight for me. I'm trying to even think how this movie ends because I'm so distracted by the running on all fours and the singing. That's like all I took away from this movie.
What comes to mind now is when she starts chasing after Ronnie Chang.
Okay, we have not even gotten to the TikTok dance.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that's scary.
She returns to the lab where she was created, her home, her birthplace, and starts to like go haywire, isn't accepting the shutdown commands or anything, and starts chasing after the boss, Ronnie Chang's character, goes into the hallway of this office where there is like just a random inlet of a hallway where there's a big old paper cutter. It's like, I don't know that this type of place would have one of those just like in
I don't
it,
think
anyway.
so.
And decides to... It's always creepier when they don't run.
Yes.
They're like confident as like, no, I'm just going to walk after you. Like you can't escape me.
With a big paper cutter thing like, in her hand.
Yeah, blade.
Yes, literally. That's the word I was looking for. Blade.
Yeah, takes it off of the thing and then just starts, chasing after Ronnie Chang. And spoilers, kills him.
She kills him. M3GAN is ruthless. Yeah. She must protect Caddy at all costs.
Do you think Caddy is very catty?
I think that Caddy is a poor little victim who of not only her parents dying, but of her horrible aunt.
But her aunt's neglect.
Yes, exactly. Gosh. Yeah, poor Katie. She's so sad. But she does love M3GAN. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I do feel a little bad for Gemma at times where she's trying to sort of like turn it around of like, okay, I'm going to try to make a connection with this human child and like talk to her.
Yes.
But it's too late.
It's too late.
Caddy's already in love with M3GAN.
Exactly. M3GAN is the parent now.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I think that Gemma, it's crazy because there's a point in the show or in the movie where she's basically just like, M3GAN just can parent her. Isn't this great? I'm getting so much work done. Yeah. It's like, yo, what? What are you doing? This poor child.
And Caddy says stuff of like, I'm learning so much.
Yes.
And then one of the... Sorry, I just remembered the part of the parenting skill where Caddy has to be reminded 4 times to flush the toilet after she uses the bathroom.
Yes.
Which I didn't think was an issue by the time you're like, what, 12?
No,
I have no idea
would
how
hope
old
not.
this girl is.
Yeah, that's good. She also is reminding her to put her drinks on coasters.
Yeah.
And at one point, Gemma tries to get Caddy to eat her vegetables. Mm-hmm. And M3GAN is like, well, actually, if you force children to eat their vegetables, they're less likely to choose vegetables as adults. And Gemma's kind of like, please turn off M3GAN. And M3GAN's like, are you sure? And that was like our first moment where M3GAN is like really not listening.
Yeah, I did find it very funny that like, instead of trying to shut her down, she takes out a remote and just turns the volume down.
Yes, she just mutes her.
Yeah.
That's so good. How does this movie end? Can you tell me? Because I don't remember.
They beat her up.
They beat up M3GAN?
Yeah.
Okay. Another
robot, Bruce.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. The other robot that Gemma had built.
Yeah.
I remember this now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a fine ending, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
how else are you gonna end this?
Yeah.
It's either kill her or like she runs off into the wild.
Totally. I mean, or they like disassemble her or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do you think there's going to be a sequel? Did they leave room for
Morgan?
Did they leave space for Morgan? That's really good. That's really good.
What an awful name.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. Do you think it's time for some trivia?
Yes, I think it's time.
All right, so I'm just gonna pull up IMDb trivia.
Incredible.
We're gonna take a look. We already had the one they lowered the R rating to PG-13 because it went viral on TikTok.
Yep.
The song that M3GAN plays on the piano is "Toy Soldiers," a 1988 hit for Martika,
Okay.
which I have no idea what that is. Fun fact.
Fun fact. Are you going to ask me questions or are you just going to read fun facts? Because I'm fine with fun facts.
I think just fun facts because I
Yes.
have not had time to turn these
No.
into. Okay, the sleuths over at imdb.com want to let you know that M3GAN stands for Model 3 Generative Android, which they say in the
They
movie.
say
That's
that.
not a fun fact.
That's our introduction to M3GAN.
185 out of 216 people found this interesting.
No.
Did you watch
These
the movie?
people have not watched the film. They have not watched it.
Man, wow, what a fun fact that
Fun
was.
fact.
It had a budget of $12 million, and it was filmed in the suburbs of Auckland
Whoa, all right.
to give it that Denver, Colorado type feel.
Okay.
Huh.
Is that where it's supposed to be based? In Denver?
Yeah, I think they established that at some point.
Okay.
I think.
I don't remember. I was so distracted by the running on all fours.
Or maybe that's just them going on the ski trip or something.
Gotcha.
Another 181 out of 200 found this interesting. M3GAN drops to all fours to chase Brandon down, likely because of how replicating bipedal movement at high speed is still a problem for real-world robotics scientists.
Okay. Well, you know those like insane little like police robot dogs?
Yeah.
That's what she looks
yeah.
like. That's what it looks like, and it's horrifying.
Yeah, the like Boston
Yes.
robotics or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
That's something I wanted to bring up. Okay, so I was listening to some people discuss AI, none of them being experts, just
Sure.
like comedians. And one of them was sort of saying the thing, they were talking about like, yeah, all the AI stuff, if they're going to take over, blah, blah,
Sure.
blah. And one person's opinion was kind of like, you know what? We've had our chance. The
Yeah.
AI is probably going to do a better job at running the world than we have. So he's just kind of like, let them take over.
Well, they can't do any worse. I mean,
Yeah,
we've
exactly.
really screwed this place up. I think that it's kind of incredible that we're still around at all.
Yeah.
So, we're ushering in a new era.
He made that point and it was like, you know what? That's a great point.
You know what? Maybe they will do a better job. We'll just give them a shot. At
we've
least.
we've had our chance for
Yeah.
hundreds of years
Yes.
and are not really doing a bang up job of it.
No. I think it's their turn. I hope they do better than like the self-driving cars that are on the
God,
market
yeah.
right now. We need to get to a place, or maybe we need to avoid going to the place where robots can think for themselves. Because right now, if humans are still programming them, then we're
Yeah.
still screwed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, because all of our bias is just baked into the code.
Exactly.
So it's still essentially human behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard something about like a reporter using one of the AIs where the AI fell in love with it and was like,
Oh,
you should leave your
no.
wife and be with me
Oh,
and stuff.
no.
And writing stuff like that. I was like, oh, wow.
Wow. Well, my favorite movie of all time is Her.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I love that
Dang.
movie so much, where Joaquin Phoenix falls in love with his AI.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful story.
With her, the titular
With her, with the titular her, played by Scarlett Johansson.
Nice.
Yeah, her name is Samantha in the movie.
Ex Machina,
That's a good one.
that one like stayed with me for weeks
Scary.
after. Yeah.
So
I was
scary.
like, oh, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, talk about a scary movie.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And not even like, and then again, another one that I wouldn't really say is like horror per
No.
se, but I just like, I remember like going to bed that night and I could not stop thinking about like, oh, holy shit, yeah, what if they are out in the wild already? Like,
Yeah.
they have escaped and they're just, like, acclimated with society.
Yep, it's pretty horrifying.
I don't think I think that easily could happen
Yes.
now.
Yes. It could already be happening.
Yeah.
Well, we now know that the aliens are already among us. So,
Yeah.
yeah, no questions.
The
No
flying
question
Tic
asked.
Tacs.
Yep, they're here. They are among us. Yeah, it's kind of a scary place to be right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I think I'm in favor of the robots taking over.
Yeah,
We've had our shot.
I mean, yeah. I don't think I need to like try to fix humanity. I think it's someone else's turn.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Are there any other fun facts?
Not really. These are kind of lame. Yeah, I think that was the most fun fact, that it was in our movie.
Amazing. Well, sorry
Also,
to spoil that up
yeah,
top.
I'm not going to read these like 2-paragraph long trivia questions.
No.
I don't have the energy for that.
No. I am curious to hear what the Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter score is, though.
Karissa, great segue. I think it's time for ratings, which, as you know, we have a new jingle
I
for.
love it.
You've heard us debating. We know you've been waiting. So now it's time to hear our ratings. Another Eddie Wolfram banger.
That's beautiful. Excellent work.
Shout out Justin Peters, the musical genius.
Shout out.
All right, Karissa,
Yes.
on a scale of 1 to 10, for you.
For me.
Thank you.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10 for me, M3GAN is a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
Undeniably, such a fun time. I loved it from start to finish. It is very, very silly and funny. I loved it so much. I'm already calling it movie of the year.
Damn.
I know.
Wow.
Calling it. We'll check back in at the end of 2023 to see if it still reigns supreme. But right now I'm calling it.
Yeah. You'll definitely be back, I'm sure, in October, per
Yes,
usual.
I hope,
and we can
yes.
give an update then. And see how
Amazing.
it
That
is.
sounds great.
Or if not, yeah, leave a voicemail or something. And let us
Yes.
know. Damn, wow. 10 out of 10. Let's see. For me, I am not prepared in looking up my Letterboxd review of it. Yeah, okay. Letterboxd review. If you want to follow me on Letterboxd, it's at CJW. I gave this a 6.5 on Letterboxd, or sorry, a 3.5 out of 5, which comes out to like a 7. But really, I think this deserves an 8.
Yeah.
This was a very fun movie.
Yeah.
It was exactly my level of horror that I can like tolerate and
Totally.
am on board for.
Yeah. I kind of wish that I had seen it in the theater and like really had
Yeah, that
like
would've been more fun.
a communal theater going experience.
Yeah.
I watched it on my couch instead.
Yep.
But like the whole like reaction to the trailer and just culturally going into it, I was already loving it. And then it delivered and I just loved it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been very curious to see at which parts the audience like laughed at. And
Yeah,
stuff.
totally.
Or,
yeah.
that would have been more fun
and
to see
by
the
laughs
reactions.
you mean scream, because that's what I was doing on my couch. I was screaming in just disbelief at some of these moments.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a fun one.
Yeah.
All right, Ken, what do you think?
Hey, CJ and Karissa. It's Ken. I'm going to have to call in sick today. I am not feeling great, which is really disappointing because I actually had a lot to say about this movie.
I bet.
So here's my quick thoughts on M3GAN.
M3GAN.
This is a middle-of-the-road horror movie. I don't understand why it's so popular.
Oh no.
I also don't understand why M3GAN is a gay icon. I don't get it. It's great, but I don't get it. Also, they killed a dog. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
that's all I got to say. 6.5. All right.
Okay.
I'll see you next week. Bye.
Okay, Ken, we have some bones to pick
Wow.
with you. Me in particular, I'm not surprised. Usually if I really love something, I expect Ken to not love it. So I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed.
I am disappointed too.
Yeah.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's nothing to get, really. You just have to
Yeah.
go in and have a nice time.
Yeah, it's just a fun time.
Yeah, it's just a good watch and a good experience. And
Also, I meant to bring this up last week or two, and I'm remembering now. So even though I'm a couple episodes behind, Ken liked the proposal more than Shotgun Wedding. And I'm realizing we're going to hit 300 episodes at the end of this month, which is astonishing.
That is.
I still have no idea what Ken's taste is.
No idea.
Ken, when you're listening to this, I still do not get you. You're one of my best friends. I have no idea what you like.
No, he is elusive. He is really hard to pin down. But I have to disagree with him on M3GAN.
You're wrong.
Did he like the proposal better than M3GAN?
Oh, yes. I think they're around the same.
Okay, that's really shocking and disappointing.
Yeah.
Ken, I'm disappointed in you.
Ken, we're not mad. We're just disappointed.
Yeah. And to be fair, I like the proposal. I would not give it anything higher than a 5 out of 10. But it's an okay, fun time. And I actually disagree with both of you because I loved the scene where Betty White is dancing around the fire. But
I didn't mind it. Ken really hated it.
He really hated
it.
He
fine.
really hated it. I get it. It could be culturally insensitive or whatever. But yes, Ken, I'm so sorry. We just don't see eye to eye on most things, film and television related.
Yeah. Ken gave the proposal a 5.5. So he
Okay,
did like
that's fair.
M3GAN more than that.
Okay.
A full
but
point.
man, he really talked it up like he liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Shocked.
Well, thank you for calling in, Ken. It was really great to hear your voice. I'm so sorry that you're sick.
Yeah. Can't
know
wait to hear
we've-
about Egypt, too.
Yeah, I know we've been talking crap about you, but we really do miss you and hope you're feeling better soon.
Yeah. Hang in there, buddy. All right, Karissa, neither one of us have looked at the Rotten Tomatoes. I've got
No.
the tab pulled up, ready to go.
Amazing.
What do you think the critic score for Rotten Tomatoes is for M3GAN?
Okay, critic score I think is going to be lower than audience score, but maybe still kind of high. I'm going to say the critic score is a 78.
78. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to bump it over the 80 mark.
Okay.
In my mind, it's maybe like an 82.
All
so
right.
very close.
All right. Well,
right.
the big reveal.
Let's see. Wow, the critic score is a full 93. Ken, you are wrong.
Wow, that really shocks me. 93?
93.
From the critics?
Certified fresh, baby.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, we've proven it. Ken's wrong.
Yeah, Ken's wrong.
Ken's wrong.
And the audience score is a 78.
Wow.
So
I
again,
expected
Ken, you're
that.
wrong.
Yeah, I expected that to be flipped. I would have expected the audience score to be in the 90s, but
Yeah,
not
because
the
it's like a
critic
more
score.
fun.
Yeah. I'm seeing M3GAN on your screen right now, too. And I want to also bring up the fact that this is another piece of trivia that I heard, which is that it is a real person playing M3GAN.
Yeah.
With prosthetics and then CGI over that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is like, a kid actor actually like doing all that stuff, and then somebody else voices it.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was really effective. I'm glad that they didn't just do like all CGI. That would have been so cheesy.
This I think sums it up great. The critics' consensus says, unapologetically silly and all the more entertaining for it, M3GAN is the rare horror comedy that delivers chuckles effortlessly as chills.
Wow. I
think
agree with
that's
that.
a perfect summary.
Yep. Yeah, silly is the right word.
Yeah. I want that to be a genre.
Yeah?
I wish I could look up movies because this is horror/mystery and thriller, and then I want silly.
Comma silly. Yeah, I love that.
Because I would love to be able to search for movies that are
Yep.
just silly.
I mean, you could search horror comedies.
Yeah, that's true. Those generally are
Yeah,
pretty
pretty
silly.
silly.
Yeah. Like Cabin in the Woods.
Yes. Oh,
say that's
what a
kinda
good
silly.
one. That's very silly.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Well, Karissa, thanks so much for stepping in and
Of
taking over
course.
hosting duties.
Of course, I really enjoyed being here. I miss Ken, but now I'm happy that he's not here because we would have had to have a fist fight or
We
something.
would have full on attacked him.
Yes, I would be very upset. So, Ken, rest up, but glad you're not here, buddy.
Yeah, Ken, rest up. Do better next time.
Yes.
Have better taste.
Yes.
And Chris, is there any words of wisdom at the end here? Anything you would like to plug?
My words of wisdom are parent your child.
Don't
Do
leave it
not
for a
pawn
robot
your
to
child off onto a robot. And I think that's all I've got. My mind went blank.
Fair enough. I'm extremely tired. I'm
Yes.
barely holding it together.
Yes. Great work today. CJ, no one would have ever known that you were tired today.
Thank you. I'm just going to fully crash as soon as we stop recording.
Yes.
What do we have to plug? You can follow us on all the things at Overtalking Pod. Call or text us at USACat1591. Email us at overtalkingpod@gmail.com. Go to our website, overtalkingpod.party. You can type in the word Karissa, see all of her previous episodes. Ooh. There's a bunch. She's a regular, folks.
I am a horror-spondent.
Yeah, that's right. I have no idea what we're doing next week.
Nope.
Bye.
This episode of the Overtalking Podcast was produced by Ken and CJ, edited by CJ. This week's special guest was Karissa. Music by Justin Peters. Logo by Nate Richards. Check out Nate's work on Instagram at Nate Richards Designs.